Hey folks, Blizzard is introducing a brand new item upgrade system in patch 10.1, and for whatever reason, they've decided to make it as convoluted as possible. Thankfully, I've been doing a ton of PTR testing to figure out how this system actually works, so in this video I'll tell you everything that you actually need to know and which parts you can safely ignore. In order to understand the new upgrade system, you first need to know about three key elements: upgrade tracks, Flightstones, and Shadowflame Crests. I'll first explain how each of these things work, and then I'll explain how they interact and what you'll need to do in practice to make the most out of the new upgrade system. First, let's talk about the upgrade tracks. In patch 10.1, almost every new piece of gear is being placed in one of 5 categories, which I've taken to calling upgrade tracks. These tracks, from weakest to strongest, are as follows: Explorer, Adventurer, Veteran, Champion, and Hero. As you can see by the item levels, Explorer and Adventurer gear is mostly intended to help new players and alts get caught up, so it's not really worth focusing on. If you get gear in this category, you shouldn't invest many resources into it, since you'll probably end up replacing it very soon. Veteran gear covers LFR items, pieces from lower level Mythic Plus, and a few rare drops within Zeralik Cavern, patch 10.1's new zone. While Veteran gear does have some niche uses that I'll discuss in my full gearing guide for patch 10.1, this only matters for the first week of the patch. If you're watching this video later in the season, Veteran gear is almost always just used for catch-up. The two more important upgrade tracks are Champion and Hero. Champion pieces drop from normal Aberris or level 9 to 16 Mythic Plus dungeons. They can be upgraded to a maximum item level of 437, which is equivalent to the strongest gear from Heroic Aberris. Hero items drop from Heroic Aberris or Mythic Plus dungeons at level 17 or higher, and they have a maximum item level of 441, which is equivalent to low-level Mythic Aberris pieces. It's worth noting that this is the highest possible gear you can get, which is part of the upgrade system. Any items you receive from Mythic Aberris or a Great Vault slot for a 16 or higher key cannot be upgraded whatsoever. Now, I'm sure you still have a few questions about these upgrade tracks, but in order to answer those, we'll need to discuss the two other parts of the system, Flightstones and Shadowflame Crests. First, we can talk about Flightstones, and this is literally just Valor Points. That's it. It's a complete reskin of the old Valor Point currency that you can spend in order to upgrade your gear, except now you can get it from a ton of different sources instead of just Mythic Plus dungeons. While you can only hold 2,000 of this currency at once, there's no seasonal cap on how much you can get. Considering Flightstones drop off literally every form of content in the game, you'll never need to worry about running out of them. The more important currency to understand is Shadowflame Crests. When upgrading higher item level gear, you'll be required to spend one of these crests in addition to the regular Flightstone cost. In order to create a Shadowflame Crest, you need to loot fragments from different forms of content, and putting together 15 of these fragments will allow you to create a single crest. Unlike Flightstones, which you can farm an infinite number of each week, you're limited to a maximum of 10 Shadowflame Crests for each type every week. There are 4 types of crests, and listed in order from least to most powerful, they are Whelpling, Drake, Worm, and Aspect. Whelpling and Drake crests are primarily obtained from world content in Zeralik Cavern, but they also drop from low-level Mythic Plus and normal or LFR raids. These 2 crests are easy to obtain and are only used to upgrade low item level catch-up gear, so you really shouldn't worry about saving them. The other 2 crests, Worm and Aspect, are much more important for anyone interested in optimizing their gear for Mythic Plus and raiding. Worm fragments are obtained by running Heroic Aberris, or by doing keys from levels 11 to 15. You're going to need a lot of Worm crests if you want to upgrade Champion and Hero pieces to their highest item levels, so you should hold on to any Worm crests you get and spend them wisely. I'll touch upon how to use these crests properly at the end of the video, but first we need to talk about the Aspect crests, which are obtained from Mythic Aberris or Mythic Plus dungeons at level 16 or higher. These Aspect crests have 2 very important uses. For starters, a single Aspect crest will be required for the final upgrade of a hero item, which brings it up from 437 item level to 441. While this means you won't be using them to upgrade items as often as Worm crests, they can still be used to create an enchanted Aspect Shadowflame Crest. This is an optional reagent created by enchanters, and it requires 4 regular Aspect Crests in addition to some enchanting materials. This item is the Season 2 version of Concentrated Primal Infusion, and you'll be able to use it to upgrade a crafted item to 447 item level. Since that topic has more to do with crafting than the upgrade system itself, I'll discuss it more in my 10.1 gearing guide. While that covers all of the key elements of this new upgrade system, I want to end the video by taking a look at how all of this will work in practice once you begin playing patch 10.1. Alright, so I'm on the PTR here, and you can see that I have a pair of 428 item level boots, which I looted from a raid boss in Heroic Aberris. These boots are part of the hero upgrade track, meaning they can reach a maximum item level of 441. These boots are currently only rank 1 out of 5, which means I would need to upgrade them 4 more times if I wanted to reach 441 item level. You can see this here. Now, trying to upgrade these boots once, I can see that reaching the next rank will cost me 140 Flightstones and 1 Worm's Shadowflame Crest. If I wanted to go all the way up to rank 5 out of 5 at 441 item level, it'll cost me 580 Flightstones, 3 Worm's Shadowflame Crests, so 1 for every level up to 437, and finally the aforementioned Aspect Shadowflame Crest to complete the final upgrade from 437 up to 441. Now let's take a look at what it would cost me to upgrade my weapon, Digirunes Pillar of the Elder Flame. You can see here that it's only at 424 item level, and it is on the champion reward track at step 4 out of 8. The next level would cost me 350 Flightstones, which is significantly more than the boots, but you'll notice that it still only requires 1 Worm's Shadowflame Crest. While the Flightstone costs may increase for certain slots, an upgrade will never require more than a single crest unless you're trying to do multiple upgrades at the same time. You can also see here that at the maximum level of 8 out of 8 upgrades, champion items still can only reach 437 item level. This means that the overall item level difference between a champion and a hero piece is fairly small, but only hero items can reach their full potential at item level 441. The final element of this system worth discussing is the built-in catch-up mechanism that Blizzard has added. If you look at my helmet here, you'll notice that it's 421 item level, and it's on step 3 out of 8 of the champion reward track. If I want to upgrade this item to the next level, it'll cost me a small amount of Flightstones, 145 in this case, and 1 Drake's Shadowflame Crest. However, if I were to try to upgrade these bracers for my bags, which are also 421 item level at step 3 out of 8 on the champion upgrade track, you'll notice that it only costs me a small amount of Flightstones and 0 Drake's Shadowflame Crests. This is because currently I have a pair of 434 bracers already equipped on my character. Whenever you try to upgrade an item that's worse than the one you already have equipped in that slot, you'll receive a Flightstone discount, shown here in green, and you won't be required to spend any Shadowflame Crests. This will make it much easier to experiment with different gear later on in the season, as you won't be forced to constantly farm additional crests. And with that, we've covered everything you need to know about the new item upgrade system in patch 10.1. Obviously, this is still an extremely overcomplicated system, so if I forgot to cover something that you're still wondering about, feel free to ask me about it in the comments below. I'll do my best to monitor this video after posting it and answer as many questions as I can. If you want to see more videos like this one, I'd encourage you to subscribe to my channel, as I'll be releasing a ton of guides for patch 10.1 over the next few weeks.